So we're here today to talk about ideas. We all have ideas, and we love when we have a brand new one. But left to their own devices, ideas can get trapped in our heads, and they can remain abstract and fluffy. So what happens if you have a good idea, a really good idea? We want to get it out and into the world. So today, what I want to talk about is a technique that will not only make your ideas more real and more tangible, but will also help the way that you think about your ideas as well. So why do we have ideas? There's lots of different reasons for having ideas. It could be for personal reasons, it could be for societal reasons, it could be to make us rich and famous, or it could be just to give us more freedom or more enjoyment in our lives. So today, I want to talk about code. It's not working. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So, the reason why we have ideas is for many different reasons. So I used to be a freelance web developer, and clients used to come to me all times with different ideas. Some of them were very small, but some of them were very large as well. So sometimes they were in the world of travel, sometimes in the world of entertainment, sometimes in the world of sports as well. But the main reason that they wanted to do stuff was to change the world in some way. Now there's a great quote by Nassim Nicholas Taleb that says, "The three most harmful addictions are heroin, carbohydrates, and monthly salary." Now that last one is a big one, and a lot of my clients were free of this last one. They'd given up a lot of financial stability to do an idea. They were so passionate about wanting to change the world that they'd given up a monthly salary. So they got me involved as the coder. I was the guy who took their idea and turned it into something real. Now, as an outsider, I was basically an interpreter for their ideas. I was basically the step between their imagination and their reality as well. So, how do we usually have ideas? Usually we have ideas in various different ways, and how do we explain those ideas? So sometimes we explain those ideas in the human language, such as English, French, or German. And we usually write these down in things like business plans. Or, the other way that we do it is we draw those instructions, things in a graphical language instead. So why don't we go straight to the computer? Well, there's a few reasons for this. Computers can be quite scary. They can be quite intimidating, and behind all that glass and behind all that metal, they can be very scary things. So this is a picture from the 1940s. This is the computer room of the NACA, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. This would later go on to be NASA. So what's missing from this computer room? Well, you might think computers, but actually there's lots of computers in this room. There's one at the front in a nice blouse, there's one under the stairs, and there's one by the door at the back. Now the word computer actually dates back from the 17th century. It used to be a job title. It used to be humans that would calculate this data and actually calculate things for other people. But as electronic computers evolved over time and got more powerful in the 50s and 60s, this job of calculating data was transferred to the electronic computers instead. We've just basically turned into computer operators instead. So every single app, every single program, every single website is us telling the computer what to do. And code is how we tell the computers what to do. Now, computers by their very nature are unintelligent. They're stupid and they don't tell us what to do. Even though they're the most powerful machines on the planet, we still tell them what to do. Now, if we look at any of the innovators over the last few years, we'll see that all of them have some kind of background in science, engineering, or technology. People like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, James Dyson, or Jeff Bezos from Amazon, they are all fluent in the language of ideas. So let's take one of those innovative companies, someone like Apple. Here are Apple's co-founders, Steve Wozniak on the left,
and Steve Jobs on the right. Now, Steve Wozniak was the coder. He was the guy who had all of the kind of programming knowledge behind Apple. And on the right, Steve Jobs. He's the kind of more famous one. He was the kind of business and design leader. Now, Steve Jobs did have technical knowledge. He was able to alter and change Steve Wozniak's designs. So not only was Steve Jobs not a programmer, he still had technical knowledge that he could improve and alter Steve Wozniak's work as well. So does that mean you should quit your job and become a computer programmer? No. But what I am saying is that learning to code will not only improve your logical processes, it will also help you make your ideas more real as well. It's not to do with maths. Maths isn't the reason why we learn to code. We want to give logical processes to computers. This is why I believe that code is the language of ideas. Now I learned to code at the age of 18. And I remember that first night that it all made sense. This alien language all of a sudden became a lot more easy. And ideas that I thought were really complicated and really hard suddenly were broken down and became a lot more simple. Now I actually teach. I teach people how to code. People of all different ages, all different industries, and all different academic backgrounds. They all have the ability to break down their ideas into actual, real, tangible things now. But the way that we promote code at the moment is kind of a bit different. So this is an example from code.org, an American company that promotes learning to code around the world. Now, most nonprofits and charities promote code by doing a few things. They all focus on the gap in the job market, how well paid jobs at computer science may be, and also the lack at degree level as well. So there's a few reasons why this is I feel is wrong. Learning to code is actually a creative thing. If we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, now this is a theory from the 1940s which explains human desires and wants. All of these needs that learning to code is currently promoted as comes quite low down under safety needs. Learning to code actually hits higher up on this pyramid. Things like self-actualization, things like problem solving and creativity. So creativity is what we're currently missing from the way that we promote code. We don't always have to make the next Facebook. We don't always have to make the next Google or the next billion-pound app. Code can be used to create lots of different things. Things like art, animation, architecture, music, and games. There's lots of things that code can do that isn't just to do with business. So what else can we do? If you don't believe me about creativity, what else is there out there? There's a big push at the moment for teaching code in schools. In England, on the national curriculum, learning to code will be on the computer science in September. And in Estonia, it's already part of the curriculum because it promotes other subjects as well, things like maths, science, and technology. So this is actually a picture from an after-school club that I've been involved with. These kids are aged between 9 and 11. Now, there's a kid at this club who's 10 years old. He has a few learning difficulties, including ADHD and Tourette syndrome. Now, usually in most of his lessons, this kid can be quite disruptive, and he can be quite noisy, and he can be quite bored. But when he's in this after-school club, he's actually making his own things. He's being really creative, and that's what's been missing from most of his lessons. So now this kid is still being noisy in here, but it's because he's actually interested rather than being bored instead. Now, what would you call a group of 25-year-old people who are interested in programming? You probably think something along the lines of geek or nerd. But what do you call a group of 10-year-olds who are interested in programming? Just children. Now everything is changing very slowly. So my generation of geeks and nerds are currently the innovators and early adopters. But there's a big push for promoting code to kids. So in 10 years' time, there's going to be a lot more people who know how to code. These 10-year-olds are going to graduate in 10 years' time, go into universities and colleges, and come out into the job market. They will not only be more technologically aware, but they'll also have creative capabilities beyond that understanding as well. And the best we can do is just learn to keep up with them. So what I want to say, we've covered a lot of different areas, things like art, music, design, science, and technology. And everything breaks down to one principle. Everything is an idea. This is why I truly believe that code is the language of ideas. Now I'm going to leave my final words with Steve Jobs, an innovator who wasn't a professional programmer, but knew enough about code to alter and change designs and be innovative at the same time. And he said, I think everyone should learn how to program a computer because it teaches you how to think. I view computer science as a liberal art, something that everyone should learn to do.